Quiet on the set, ladies and gentlemen. In 10 seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is DIETRA KELSEY, host of the Sister Talk TV show. And this is Sister Talk after the show. And sitting with me from the live show are the McBroom sisters. And we have a treat today. We have the Queen Mama. Mama Marie. I hear Durga laughing in Denmark. Durga's in Denmark via Skype. We're going to start with you, Mama Marie. Is that okay if I call you that?
Surely.
Mama Marie.
I have children all over the world, even in India now.
Okay, Mama Marie. You know, you have so beautiful children here. These children here, you could feel the emotional ties during the live show, even now.
Okay.
Where did this come from? How did you do that?
Do that what?
You know, bring the bond together, because from what I understand that they have different mothers.
Yes.
Yes. And sometimes you don't see that. Honestly, you don't see that.
Well, you know what? I love it because that's painless childbirth.
Painless childbirth. Tell me about Daddy McBroom.
One thing you know by what you see here today, that Daddy McBroom was a womanizer.
Polygamous.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so, and he had 3 of them.
Okay.
The wives.
Okay.
I'm number 1.
All right, all right.
Excuse me, ladies, but their mother was number 2.
Oh.
Keep moving your mic.
And there's a number 3 that's not here and not represented today.
Okay, Daddy McBroom was smooth. Okay.
Yes.
Since we opened the door, I think I'm comfortable in asking you this. After the breakup, I know he had, you know, several wives. Was it hard for the mothers to get along? How was it for you all to get along?
Well, we didn't live together like the Africans do, so there was no problem.
But you should mention the letter that Pearl wrote to you, too.
Oh, I should have brought that here today.
What did Pearl write?
She wrote a letter to me, and the day that she wrote it, I called my sister to tell her, and she said, "Get out of here."
What was the letter about?
She said how she always admired me, and I was a wonderful person, and, you know, a lot of flattering things. And I was shocked, but everything was true.
Okay. All right.
So, and my sister said she had never heard of a second wife writing a first wife a nice letter.
No.
And it was very hard for her to believe.
Okay.
She said, "Read it." And I read it to her.
Okay. I wanted to ask you all, I know the sisters up here, I know that you all have 2 brothers from the other marriage.
And a sister.
And a sister also.
Yes.
Durga, I'm going to include you in this also. Was there any rivalry, sibling rivalry? Because I have 4 sisters. And there were things like, and it's like step cases to us. Now, you have my blouse on, you know, stuff like that.
No.
Well, fortunately,
that's so special about this family is we all really inspire one another and look out for one another and love one. We don't, I mean, I would talk to some of my friends about some of the horrible things like the Jones girls, my friends Marnay, Kedron, and Sean Jones, and they used to have punishment number 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Punishment number 1 was where they'd make Marnay, who was my age, the youngest, they'd make her eat dry cat food. And then they'd make her eat wet cat food. And punishment number 3 was they'd take her in laundry room and spit on her cheeks on the washboard.
Lord.
We never did things like that.
So that's true.
I was fortunate. See, the fortunate thing is that, first of all, I was too small for anyone to borrow my clothes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, second wife, Lorelei and Durga's mother, Dr. Pearl McBroom, she had a sister who we all loved dearly. We loved Aunt Mary. Aunt Mary was so wonderful. And it was funny because when she passed away, she left many things. But I ended up I was the only one who wore her same size shoes, so I inherited like 75 pairs of shoes. It's funny because it keeps happening to me. I'm like, does someone want me to take a walk? I don't know. But anyway.
So Daddy McBroom, he chose some very good, positive, level-headed women. Wouldn't you say that?
Yes. Yes.
And
Exceptional women.
exceptional women, and he produced, with the help of the mothers, exceptional
Thank
children.
you.
Exceptional children.
And he had, the funny thing was that Daddy, I mean, my father had a photographic memory. So that was the other interesting thing, because you couldn't argue with him, because he'd be able to recall a book and the page from, 20 years ago when something happened. Yeah, my father had a photographic memory, and he spoke Chinese.
Wow.
And yes, he was quite an interesting human being.
So you were on the West Coast. You two were on the West Coast.
Durga and Laura.
Durga and Lorelai
were West
you
Coast.
were on the West Coast. You were on the East Coast. How did you all bond like that? Did you all visit each other?
Yes. Well, the first trip, we have to laugh. Marcia and I ran away from home. Yes. We wanted to. Thought we weren't spending enough time with our dad, so we literally shipped all sorts of things out to California, and it was like something from a great movie. My mother was chasing us to the airport, and we were running, and she just had to wave goodbye to our plane as we took off. But we had, a great time with my father. But being East Coasters, it's like California was a land of fruits and nuts, and so we just, But fortunately, Marcia and I were both dancing at the Metropolitan Opera at that time, and the Met had gone through a long search to find us. We had to go through a big audition process. So it was so great, because when we wanted to come back, we were like, oh, we have to go back to New York. Our public is calling.
Your fans are calling.
Another funny thing is, though, when various African countries were gaining their independence, and we told you my mother worked at the United Nations, so she would get invited to go to the independence celebrations, and she'd say, oh, but I have to take my daughters with me.
Oh, wow,
and so that's how we started traveling to Africa.
So
from
all
the
of
time
you all,
we were
so you
children.
brought the West Coast kids along with you, Mama Marie, huh?
Yes.
So you
You know why? Because I just can't staying home all of the day, doing nothing, and I liked people, and I like to go out. So in order to make sure that my children realize I wasn't out there doing any hanky-panky, I took them every place.
Oh, so you're part of the NAACP.
I started the first youth council that they ever had in New York.
And
that's
this is a good
how my
time to show your
picture
shot.
got,
Yes.
This is a
on
picture.
the Crisis
Oh,
magazine.
wow.
My mother
look
was
at
the
you.
first cover girl, and I don't know if the camera can pick up this shot. She was the first cover girl of the NAACP's Crisis magazine.
That's great.
And there she is as a cover girl. And yes, she was, well, she still is, always a beautiful woman. And I can just thank God for our genes.
So just, can you sum up, we're running out of time and all that. And like I said, you all are fascinating to me. You're so positive, not just for black women, but for women, period. And Mama Marie, just not to put any differences, if you had any differences, with the upbringing of Daddy McBroom's children and so forth, it's really about the children. I'm gonna give you the last word. What do you have to say about this family and your husband, your late husband?
Well, I could say we were always interested in Africa.
Right.
Even Marcus at the time.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey.
And he wanted to go to Africa so badly to work. And he applied to the State Department to get a job in Africa. And he got the job. And my mother and I, we tore up the letter. We never gave it to him. Because I said, I don't want to be way over in Africa and decide I want to come home and I can't get home. So,
Wait, I would say something here.
Okay, all right, Durga.
Well, Grandmother Lee, and Marie, when I was little, when I was about 5 or 6, because they were from the, from the Caribbean, from the West Indies. I was terrified that they were voodoo priestesses and they were going to cast spells on me. And Grandmother Lee was quite imposing, I must say. But once I got older, I got to see how fascinating Marie is, and I've been in love with her ever since.
Oh, thank you.
We have to end the show, but I do have to say this. One of the treats for me to host Sister Talk TV show, I'm always meeting these phenomenal women. And it just educates me to be a better person, to put my differences aside, to make the world a better place. I was telling Lorelai, you all need to write a documentary, get a documentary going on, or write a book. And please conclude me so I could you can have some character witnesses or what have you.
And we can't forget our men, because I always say men of quality love women of equality.
That's it. And you got some equality, quality, and phenomenal, and whatever words to describe women sitting up in here. All right, we got to go. This is DIETRA, host of Sister Talk TV show. As always, I'm wishing you peace, love, and light.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, there wasn't no time.
I know.
Yeah, I got to get the book out.
No, it's because we had technical problems.
We're actually planning on a soap opera.
Yeah, that's what we really need.
Okay.
Well, I have the script. I already have the script.
Everybody say goodbye to Durga.
Hey, Durga. Bye. We love you.
Right.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, honey. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, everyone, that's a wrap.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome crew, awesome people. Thank you guys.